of the remarkable potential that the franchising sector holds in today's interconnected global economy. This webinar aims to provide you with a comprehensive overview of the current trends shaping the franchising landscape, as well as the opportunities that arise from these developments. In our today's session, experts will be focused on global trends in franchising, global market opportunities, and strategy for successful. ISFA is the voice of Indian small business and franchise industry. ISFA would continue to work towards the betterment of the industry at all levels. We aim to support the entrepreneurs across the country to emerge as a global entrepreneurs. We helping a startup firm to grow or ensuring a smooth working of our franchisees. ISFA is committed to provide every possible help to every person associated with it. This is an invaluable opportunity for all of us to gain insight that can enhance our business strategies and inspire growth. We invited you to engage fully, share your thoughts, and connect with fellow participants as we dig into these important topics. Thank you for being here today. Let us embark on this enlightenment journey together. Now, without further delay, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Mr. Gaurav Maurya. Mr. Maurya is the chairman of Indian Small Business and Franchise Association (ISFA) and chairman of Franchise India Group and Fran Global India. Mr. Maurya is the closest thing to a born entrepreneur. He started his first enterprises at a teenager at an engineering college. Today, Mr. Maurya is hailed as the father of Indian franchising. The title is an acknowledgement of his unmatched effort for the franchising industry and give the franchising concept to India. As a chairman of the group, Mr. Maurya is widely admired for his non-conformist operating style, direct and to the point advice, and cult marketing tactics and strategies. He sits on the board of several organizations. He has chaired several global businesses forum on franchising and retail in India, in USA, in Australia, in Asia, in GCC and London and so more. So over to you, sir.
Hosting this, and welcome friends, and welcome to this very special initiative by our Indian Small Business and Franchise Association. I welcome these initiatives because I feel that it is partially encouraging bilateral trade between our two countries, which we will introduce our honorable guest today. He joins us from Turkey, which is a very big commercial and a potential industrial partner for India. And I feel there is much more happening in the franchise space and franchise industry. But this forum is also educating us about the different countries and opportunities which we have. I've been 27 years in franchising, and I've never seen more changes in the way franchising is working globally now. Today, I'm sitting in Seoul, which is capital of Korea, and I'm seeing this. The world is changing. People are taking new opportunities, taking opportunities from different part of the world to different countries, and I see a big opportunity today as we invite our honorable guest. And Akshat, if you can introduce our honorable guest to begin with, and then we start the session.
Sure, sir. Today, it will be our honor to have Mr. Donat with us. He is a board member of Turkish Franchise Association since 1994 and plays an active role in the representation of franchisee sector in Turkey at World Franchise Council, EFF, and Asia Pacific Franchise Council. He is in franchise sector first as a franchisee, then he as a franchisor, and then as franchisee professionals and various other roles. He is mainly experienced in food and education related franchisee models. Over to you, sir.
Mr. Donat, if you want to give some keynote, and then we can get started with our few questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gaurav. It's an honor to participate in this webinar together with you. I know that you're very experienced, especially in international franchising. You have experience in multiple countries, multiple continents. My specialty in franchising is, as my biography says, I joined this sector as a franchisee back in 1992. So I know the times in 90s when franchising was emerging the first time in Turkey as a franchisee. And then I became a franchisor of the same brand that I joined as a franchisee. And I was a franchisor for 18 years. And our brand became a countrywide brand reaching almost 200 outlets. And then I continued my experience as a franchise professional. And since 1994, I'm an active member of Turkish Franchise Association, and I represent the country's sector in WFC, EFF, and Asia Pacific Franchise Confederation, which gave me the chance to observe different countries and different franchise applications. And today, when I have the chance, I'd like to elaborate on the changing dynamics in franchising from 90s, now 2020s. It's a tremendous change. And as well as I'd like to mention why Turkey is a very good represent a very good opportunity for those who would like to come and invest, and also the Turkish brands exporting their brands and their systems worldwide, all over the world, and which sectors are more likely to grow internationally, and what are the challenges waiting for them, what are the opportunities lying there. That's I'd like to mention. Thank you very much.
Nat, and I think before I probably come to a first part of the discussion, I'd like to know some statistics about what is Turkish franchise industry look like. How many current systems are actively franchising, and how many would be internationally get a franchising now?
That's a very good question. Turkey is one of the most active country in Europe with a number of chains operating in franchising. It reaches nearly 2,200 brands operating in franchising. And among those 2,200, around 10% of them are members of Turkish Franchise Association. Our annual revenue in franchising estimated to reach $55 billion in 2024. As usual, mainly the franchising in half of those brands are operating in food sector. Food is the main dynamic model in franchising, but we see all sectors in Turkey as well, from education to different services, the car services, elderly care, wellness, self-care, from mainly all industries are represented in the form of franchising in Turkey. Many brands among I don't have the figures from the overall 2,200 brands, but around 51 brands they are our members. They are operating outside the border of Turkey.
No, absolutely. This is a great insight, and it's a large industry for $55 billion. I'll give you a little stats about India. So India, while we have been privileged to work with a lot of active franchise systems, we have got 18,000 active franchise systems, largely because India is a large country. So there are a lot of them are regional. So they only franchise within their state or within their cities. Only about 2,000 plus companies would be what I can call the pan-India kind of an opportunities which they are franchising across, again, very clearly the same conventions pattern. We have large food contributes about 30-35%. Another sector which Turkey is actually leading now is fashion, and India also is a very large marketplace. So fashion franchising is very, very large, and I have privileged to work with a lot of Turkish brands which now are global brands in fashion. And a lot of government initiative is also going on to take Turkish brands, which is actually a greater European quality and better pricing. So, and that's becoming very, very popular everywhere. Similarly, in India is a very large fashion industry. So we contribute another 30% on the fashion space. And then we have specialty retail and then a lot of services and education. So these are the sectors predominantly in India, while there are a lot of new sectors emerging, especially on technology side. I mean, we are having a very large new tech businesses which are coming in. So, and India, while we have very little, unlike many countries, while we have a lot of franchise systems, but we still don't do too much international franchising. The very handful of companies which are actually going international. But I see a next 5 to 10 years, you will see a lot of Indian brands, not only just from food or fashion, but a lot of other categories like healthcare, a lot of specialty aesthetic clinics. A lot of that is happening as we speak now, and they are getting international. To start with their immediate market. The immediate markets would be the Middle East and the Southeast Asia. But it's not far that we will see some of our Indian brands getting into North America or Europe and likes of them. But I see personally a very big opportunity of Turkish brands looking at this part of the world, because they, as I said, they are fabulously best of the Europe quality and a much better pricing. I had an honor to bring in a Turkish furniture brand to India many years back, and the quality was nothing less than an Italian brand. So, and there are a lot of players now working on that. So that brings me to the first question of this today's session. And Akshat, you can also add if you want to add anything which you have kept in your agenda. Is about trends. So what is happening on the larger trends you see in franchising? You've seen a 3 decades of journey in franchising. What do you see? How this has changed, and what is happening, and what would be the future? And especially on food side, because food is a significant part of your business. What do you see is a big change happening?
Thank you very much, Gaurav, for this question. Well, back in 1992, when I first started as a franchisee, I mean, the striking reality at that time, we didn't even have the cell phones. The internet was not used. So the customers who came to inquire about going in this business were mainly informed by the shops that they were shopping, and they learned that they can have their own branch elsewhere. So the market was so virgin in that sense, in terms of there were only few franchise brands. Mind you, my brand was one of the first 10 franchise chains in Turkey. So back at that time, many things were, of course, hard to get and difficult to achieve, but on the other hand, very easy and very, we were lucky, for instance. So one of the change was, one of the interesting thing, there were so many franchise inquiries, they're coming, and they didn't have the chance to compare your conditions with other companies because they couldn't do it on the internet. And in the early stages, when the internet was getting more and more widely used in our country, even at that time, there were so little input in terms of other franchise brands and chains. So they couldn't make any, comparisons. And so you were alone with the candidate, and your terms and your conditions were much easier to, to be accepted by the other party. The competition was much lower. But since then, the introduction of technology, the franchising became very popular. And now, as I said, we have 2,200 brands. And also the rise in technology, especially in the usage of internet, the consumer habits change in acquiring something to walk in to purchase, also affected the franchising. Now it's very easy to compare between, within the sector, you can make a lot of comparisons from, for instance, from a bakery franchise or from fast food franchise. You can have multiple comparisons within seconds. The expectation of income, necessary investment, even how many branches they have, what are their closing rate, what are their growth rate, and all of those information have become very transparent to franchisees, to prospective franchisees. So that is one change in the sector, and which is in a way challenging for the franchisers. But on the other hand, back in 90s, we needed to explain the rules of franchising. We needed to, make them understand, showing them the contract. They need to study the contract. They learned franchising together with us, our franchisees. So we needed the training constantly, and it was at that time quite difficult sometimes to, get them in line with the main principles of franchising. Whereas now it is widely known, widely learned by the franchisees, and the profile of franchisees and the franchisers have tremendously changed from 1990s to 2020s. Now, your prospective franchisee has been in this sector, was probably a franchisee from a different brand, or is probably want to expand with a different brand while he or she is still having a different brand on his pocket, and just want to spread the egg in different baskets and expand in a different sector as well. And so they are well aware of all the franchise rules, the principles, which makes the franchisor's business easier in that sense when it comes to that. I would like to mention the global trend in franchising after the pandemics. I want to draw your attention to that. After the pandemics, many people questioned their lifestyle, started to question. I'm not talking about the Turkish people. I'm talking about the Western, the people in United States, the people in Europe. So the people, a lot of us faced the danger of death during the pandemics, and probably realized the value of life and what we need to do in life. And a lot of people started questioning their work and life balance while they were working. And they wanted to be more flexible. They wanted more freedom. They want to make their own decisions, and this is something that the franchising actually provides. So therefore, there was a more and more switch from the working lot to the franchising, which we can see in the growth rate across the globe in franchising after the pandemics has risen very fast. And alone in the US, we see after 2022, there are about between 250,000 to 300,000 jobs, new jobs are created in franchising, and this is increasing in time. Also, in parallel with what has changed in our way of thinking after the pandemics, we see the reflection of that in the rising franchise trends. one of which gives us the clue is self-care. You see, I mean, you're probably aware, the self-care related businesses have tremendously expanded. What we mean by self-care, we mean the wellness centers and the fitness centers, the beauty, and the nail care, for instance, was the champion in the world a few years back. Those businesses have started growing rapidly, not only in US but also in Turkey as well. We see every day that a new brand they keep opening new branches. And another sector, probably in parallel after the pandemics, they also risen rapidly, is the elderly care and senior care related franchise models, like providing home health services, providing recreational services, and all that are also very much trendy. Another trend is, of course, we were kept at home and many people spent their time in technology. Technology was there for our use, and gaming has become more than ever so popular around the world. So the franchise models related with technology, with gaming, with repair, maintenance, and other services related to this business, we see is rising rapidly in the course of the time. And of course, these are general global trends, but it also reflects in our country as well. The food is always my perception. I mean, my experience tells me that competition has become more fierce because there are many more players in the sector. Therefore, when I look at the franchise sector, I'll see those systems that they have more profit margins and low in product cost. They have more chances to grow, such as coffee chains, beverage chains, ice cream chains. They are rising as well because their profit margin on product base is large, and they have more option to grow. I can elaborate more on that, Mr. Gara, but maybe you'd like to mention.
Very
good
insight.
Share your views as well.
Yeah, so very good insight, and I think I will, copy that in terms of that. What you've said is also seen in markets like India or Middle East, where I operate largely. But there is another big change which I'm seeing on the international front. So earlier, it was when I started my career in franchising, it was always about American or European brands coming to this part of the world. And now the big change which I'm seeing, that people are now going for businesses and brands which are coming from other parts. I mean, I'm seeing now Asian brands doing extremely well. And now we have more and more Asian brands now becoming global. We're seeing a lot of Turkish brands now being very, very popular. I was in Saudi Arabia and I met one of the large family offices. And they told me that, look, we just want to focus on Turkey because those are the brands which we want to bring into Saudi Arabia versus a lot of American companies which we had in the portfolio. So at Fran Global and our other companies, we are also changing our portfolio. And we understand that now the preferences have become very different. And it's also because people are well traveled. They understand what is happening in the world, and they pick things which are the best from the world. And so that's a big trend which I see a change. Another change, which is obviously, as you said, in businesses which are getting automated. I'm becoming more fan that businesses have to become edit proof and also be automated. So we are now seeing trends of new food businesses which are coming in, which are largely automated at the back. So you have lesser people to be employed, and you are able to do much better throughput. So those are the businesses which are technology-centered businesses. In India, we also see a lot of digital franchising happening. which means that they don't really have physical stores, and they can just take this product or service purely digitally out, and they're making franchises geographically. And that trend I also see would go to the world. You will be able to render your services or products purely digitally running through that. So these are the trends which we see internationally. The one big trend I feel that also has happened because of not so much good situation of these wars happening is that people's preferences on what they want to consume is also changing a lot, which is giving an opportunity for countries like India or Turkey or places like that to now be in a preferred, opportunities in some part of the world where, for reasons people don't want to consume a particular thing. Like I'm seeing a big shift to, if you go to any Turkish coffee shop in the Middle East, it will always be packed completely. It's one preference of product. And second, people are shifting from what they don't want to consume. And I don't want to use it in an open forum, but this is a big trend. And we should, at our associations, encourage our businesses and brands to take the advantage of that. I'm not saying it is a bad advantage, but it's an opportunity for us to showcase our opportunities and brands to the world. And that's why at ISFA, we are doing a lot of cross-border delegations. And before this webinar started, I also encouraged that we should do between India and Turkey also some kind of a collective cross-border delegations to educate our brands that they can look at these markets to take their businesses or brands to respective markets. This brings to me the next question, how an association of yours is helping Turkish brands to explore international markets, and how do you really, do you run trade missions or you run some advertising, and any kind of advice you want to give, which helps them to really navigate the international markets?
Thank you, Gaurav. You are absolutely right. Nowadays, many brands, especially from our region and from Asia, have started to expand in other countries, and they are becoming more and more successful. There's always a try and error experience with the first trials. We see a lot of brands, they failed, of course, but these experiences have generated more experienced players, and they did not make the same mistakes that the previous ones made, and they now have a more success ratio abroad. I will come to your question, but let me elaborate on what are the advantages of going abroad. I mean, why a brand? I mean, you are the most highly populated, the highest populated country in the world. In Turkey, we are like 85 million, and there's enough people here, right? I mean, why should you bother, taking your brand to Germany, to Azerbaijan, to Iraq or so? There are some reasons, and that is the crucial point why you should do that. Not for the sake of doing it, but the return is tremendous for those players. They do it right. Main reason is that when you take your brand, for instance, you are a Turkish doner kebab brand, and you want to operate in Germany. I've seen many examples of that in the past. The market in Germany is so used to those little shops. The way that the products are served there is in comparison to those professional franchise brands are so primitive. So when a Turkish well-organized, well-tested, and highly engineered products with a great team and experts going in Germany, they are making revenues that they can hardly meet when they operate in Turkey. That's one reason. I mean, because the market is not saturated there for their brand, they have a much higher chance of success. The second reason is that they spread their eggs in different baskets. So they're not making only local currency, their revenue. their revenue is coming from different currencies. They earn euros, they earn dollars, they earn dinars, and from all over the world. And if there is a crisis going in one part of the world, they have other eggs in the other baskets, which make them live. They still float on the surface of the sea. That is the second advantage. And of course, the new markets, like us in Turkey, when the first American brands came, the Starbucks came, Burger King, McDonald's, and the similar thing happened. Everybody rushed into those brands. They wanted this different taste. So it's the same thing exists there as well. The people are probably tired of their local taste and they want something new, something very professionally developed and put into a franchise model and now brought into their home, next to their home. And now they can taste a delicious product coming from, from Gaziantep, from Turkey. And they don't have to travel anymore all the way to Turkey to taste these delicious things. So this is another point where how they become successful. And of course, there are some critical points where they have to pay attention. So I was talking with several companies. They are quite successful operating outside of Turkey. And I share their views totally. One of the things is that they decide on, for instance, they want to go to United Kingdom or they want to go to Germany. They make the contract first. They don't start with the location, choosing the location first, but they make the contract. They choose the people, the person who is going to be their master licensee or franchisee in that region. That the first step is to choose the right person for the right job. And they also decide on their first 5-year goals. They have a business plan and everything. And then they start going in, choosing the right location, working with a multiple realtor in this area, not only with one. And that's how they start. That's a very good way of starting the business. And they also check which products they can export there and which products they need to obtain locally. And then they start a research on local suppliers and services, the packaging, and also the raw materials or ready materials to be sold. So they prepare the whole system before they even start deciding on the location. And of course, this comes then the contract is very important. They sign a sound and top-notch contract covering all the edges, which is approved by a notar in that country. And also they get a local legal advice, which is a must-thing. It's a very important thing, and it needs to be accomplished before they start growing in that country. And of course, marketing and choosing the personnel. Many of them are taking their trained people from here to abroad in the beginning, which is practical. And in time, they of course recruit personnel from locally. Another crucial advice is that when you bring your brand in another country, you need to think also local. I mean, introduction of local habits in your menu, in your services, it plays a very crucial role. For instance, a brand which is not selling any alcohol in Turkey, opening a fantastic branch in the center of London cannot, and it's food, it's a restaurant, and you cannot just say, okay, well, I'm not selling any alcohol in Turkey, and that is totally out of our menu. You cannot do that. So you need to, be courageous to make some changes in your menu, which leads to your success. And that also includes, you can change your menu, adding some local tastes, altering some, recipes in the way that those people, love. I remember the case of Burger King in India, for instance. You know the story, right? And it ended with a disaster after some years, but something like that. So they need to pay attention to the local habits as well. So what we do as the Turkish Franchise Association, well, our president, Professor Mustafa Aydin, that's his main slogan. So whenever we have the chance to gather with our members, and he's always telling them, unless they export, unless they start operating across borders, you don't consider yourself a successful franchisor. So you should always motivate yourself to go beyond borders. You need to, another doctrine he's saying, nowadays the countries are not using their weapons to, invade another country. Nowadays they are using their brands and their habits. They're exporting their habits, they're exporting their brands, and they're invading a country with their brands, with their way of life and everything. And that's how they, in a way, so to say, reinvading a country, changing habits of life and so. So our brands should do the same, should export always. We give a lot of seminars from experts, legal experts, franchise counselor, consultants, and those brands that they are quite experienced operating in multiple countries. They're also sharing their experiences in our regular exchange of experience meetings, encouraging other members to also export their brand, also go and explore the world and see the chances. We also visit international franchise expos all around the world, and together with our members, we go and exploit those different chances. Also, we have an annual franchise expo every year and in Istanbul, which is very popular by international brands. So they come here and they look for Turkish brands so that they are willing to be a master franchisor. They bring it to their country. But on the other hand, there are many brands coming and they are seeking their master franchises for their brand in Turkey. So this is our priority, Gaurav.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like your statement, which you said that now the brands are invading the countries and they bring the culture to that entire thing and way of life. So this is going on, and I think all countries and economies are thinking a similar way, and especially our large developing economies, which have a reason to take our brands to the global market. I would add to maybe what you said. You covered most of the things. Normally, we advise at 3 levels to any company which is now looking to go international. One, most of them are very opportunist. So if somebody is visiting company, say like I was coming to Istanbul for holiday and I like something and I reach out and say, can I take this brand to my market? That's not always the best approach. So companies need to find out which is the most strategic market for them and why they want to do it. And normally it's an immediate market where you have immediate same customer overlap, which you want to do that. So that's one of the areas which we really work with our members in association, that how do we really define which are their immediate markets and where you would have not to change a lot of things. Second thing, which is very important, you need to define who you need. So if it is a small market, somebody comes and takes, wants a franchise in Mauritius, which is maybe a couple of location structure. I need to have an operator. I need to have an operator who might maybe open up 3 or 4 locations. He's hands-on, he's available in the business. But if it is a market as big as India, then you need to have maybe a larger corporation who can do justice on that business. Otherwise, they would not be able to do that. And I've seen a lot of disasters where people have entered India with smaller operators who don't have a bandwidth to build the business to entire thing. Either the business became too small and marginalized, or they were not able to scale that business or eventually closed. So you need to be very clear who you really need in which market you want to do. And third is what you rightly said, adaptability to that market. But if the adaptability is significant, which means that I have to significantly change my brand. Like I was working with a Australian topmost steakhouse, and I met the chairman, and he says, "Look, I'm very keen on India." I says, "So would you like to change your business from steakhouse to something else? Because India steaks are not possible." And he says, "No, that's not possible because my business is actually, I'm known for steaks. So India is not your market. You can probably look at going to Saudi Arabia, or you can go to any other market in the world, and the world is over for you. But why would you choose a business which needs significant change in the business model which you need to do?" So between these 3 advices, we work with that. Apart from that, what you said, I completely agree. You need to have professional support. You need to have right legal counsels. You need to have your trademark being protected. And we've seen that a lot of challenges, especially in some countries where you've not protected your trademark and somebody else is running the trademark. So going international is not a cheap initiative. It needs capital, and you need to allocate that capital and a long-term plan on that. If you don't have that capital allocation and a long-term plan, you'll not be able to succeed in international expansion. And wherever we enter a market, then you need to try to do a cluster. So because if you do a cluster in that region, you're able to put up a significant size and structure to that marketplace. So that brings me to the third part of the business, and this probably will be last because we're running out of the time. And so any advice you would like to give it to companies which would like to enter Turkey, say international brands, and I'm working in now 12 odd countries in my personal capacity as business, but association-wise, Indian Small Business and Franchise Association, we have a lot of brands coming to us and asking, saying, how can I enter Turkey and how can I enter there? So if you can enlighten us, and it can eventually go as a white paper to our members, where if somebody is looking to enter Turkey, which is also seen as a gateway to Europe now, so what should be the steps you should take? And is there some initiatives by association? How do you encourage? Do you have a membership for foreign brands to be part of your association? So any advice which you want to give it to, especially for our larger Indian brand which would like to look at entering there?
Thank you, Gaurav. Yes, we have. It used to be 2/3 of all the brands operating in Turkey used to be foreign brands back in 90s, the 20s, early 20s, and so. Now this ratio changed in favor of the Turkish brand because there are a lot of new players emerged from this country, and now 1/3 of all operating brands are in Turkey are foreign-related brands, and among those, foreign brands operating in Turkey, it used to be mainly coming from the Western world in the old times. And now this equation is also changing. Now we see a lot of new brands. They're bringing new habits. For instance, from East Asia, this bubble tea chains have become very, very successful. And there are, as far as I know, around 10 chains operating in Turkey. They are, foreign-related companies. First of all, as you said, I totally agree. First, they need to test their product in Turkey. Whether this taste is competitive, is highly demanded, and they can see the opportunity in Turkey that this will be highly acquired by the Turkish consumers, and this is the starting point. As I said, I invite all interested franchisers to come and take part in our show in February in Istanbul Expo. And we are preparing a special package where they not only come and enjoy the fair and get the experience and meet with the potential master franchises, but they also enjoy Istanbul, because it will also have a tour in Istanbul, and it will be together with the accommodation, with the expo VIP entrance as well. So this package, we will definitely will share it with you, with your members, so they can come, and while they are in Istanbul, they can go around and they visit those shopping malls, the main shopping streets, and they first need to imagine that their brand is successful there. I mean, they need to believe before they start looking for master franchise. Before they start looking for investors from this country, they need to believe that their product is going to be very successful. They can start the first shop on their own, and then franchise, then find a master franchise as well. This is the second method, of course. But I will go back to what I said. This also holds true for coming into Turkey. They need to find the right profile, the right person. The right person in the old times, I'm sure you would agree with me, was the guy who had the financial resources. And nowadays, this is not the right guy. I mean, yes, the financial resources is definitely needed, is a must, but is not the priority. The priority is nowadays the franchisers are seeking their master franchise from the franchising industry. Those they have previous experience in this sector. They operated different brands, or they are still operating different brands. They know how the franchise can grow. They know the main principles, as well as they know how to manage their stores within this system. So this is the more and more preferred profile by the franchisers, and that holds true for Turkey as well. So they need to choose the profile, and of course they need to come and become a member of Turkish Franchise Association, which gives them the chance to meet with all major players in the sector, the CEOs, the brand owners. So it's networking. It gives them a great networking opportunity within the sector. We also can advise them that they can work with various consultants. They are specialized in different different aspects of the business. So one of them is specialized in finding locations in real estate. One of them is expert in operations, in personal employee hiring, employee training, and operation. Another consultant is expert in finding franchises, marketing, and sales. So I would not advise the Indian franchisers to work with only one consultant. They need to look in the area where this consultant is specialized and how he became specialist in this area. They need to look the background of this consultant as well. So Turkish Franchise Association plays a role there, and we put a light in this area so they can choose among various franchise consultants. In fact, our website contains all the supporting figures in the sector as well as the consultant. Of course, the legal advice is also important. So they need to have a very good contract, and which we can also come in the scene by giving them the right consultation with what kind of solicitors they need to work with, lawyers they need to work with as well, who are special in franchising rules and so. Because our country is, we don't have a franchising law. It's a free, how do you say, it's under the trade law, so there's
Yeah,
no
it's a contract law.
Yeah. Where you are right now, you are in Seoul, right, in South Korea.
Yeah,
There is a franchising law there. There is a franchising law.
That's right.
For instance,
You
in
few
that
countries
country,
are.
if you open a shop, in every 5 years, the franchisor has to remodel the shop from zero to scratch. So there is something like that, a very drastic measure, imposed by the government on franchising, for franchisors and franchisees. We do not have this franchise law, and we are against the franchise law, by the way. So we do not want a regulation imposed by the government. It's a self-regulated sector, and we want to keep it that way for the sake of the franchising sector. The last words, Gaurav, I took a note. I think it's very important for our franchisor. I mean, whoever is watching as a franchisor or a franchisee. I mean, this advancement in technology really shocks me every year. What are the new applications? What are the new products they are related with franchising? One of them is customer optimization. Have you ever heard? I don't know. But nowadays, if you are a prospective franchisee, you are paired with franchise brands. They are ideal for you in terms of your income expectations, in terms of your skills, in terms of your ability, in terms of your education, your location, your whatever. So this serves both for franchisees and the franchisors. It's a tremendous new technique in pairing the franchisees with the franchisors using technology. Another introduction is AI technology. I mean, AI applications within the franchise sector, analyzing data, comparing your competition, and also with the AI technology. I remember back in 1990s, I was struggling to, come up with training videos for my staff. Now with the AI technology, this is so simple and it's so doable without spending so much money. And so this is a great advantage for the sector, but also represent a challenge for the franchisors because they need to adapt their system into new emerging technologies. And though if they want to survive in the next decade, they need to do this adaptation at once. I mean, they need to pay attention to that. There are other challenges, which also is here, reaching the low interest bank loans has become almost impossible within franchising. So high inflation, we have high inflation in Turkey. So the interest rates are high. The shortage of labor is one of the main challenges in the sector across the world, but also in Turkey. I know some brands, they couldn't open their outlets because they couldn't find the right employees in time. So it is really, especially in, this is very much related with the property cost, with the rent, high rents. And so this, the working people cannot live in the city centers anymore. They used to in the old times. And now they have to go in the rural areas. And so this is also playing, creating a challenge for the future of franchising. And also the rising employee costs are also representing a challenge in franchise sector. Therefore, I say a high profit margin systems, chains, such as coffee chains are boosting in Turkey, as well as Europe, have better chance in growing. That's all from me at the moment.
Thank you very much.
There will be any questions.
No, absolutely. Very good thoughts. And we will continue to work between India and Turkey bilateral relationship. I'll personally be available for the February show. And we'll also invite the show we support in India, which is the anchor show in India. It's called Franchise India, which happens in May in Delhi. So we'd love to have you and the association delegation for the show. I think I'll tell Akshat to coordinate with your good offices to have the discussion going on. And we really thank you for taking time out today and be part of this. We need to do more sessions. We need to maybe do bigger panel where we bring some brands, they share their stories, and we continue to build a lot of information between our two great countries and also our initiative through our association to build the education on this, and now also to encourage international franchising. So Akshat, over to you for your thanking note.
Thank you very much, sir. And thank you very much, Mr. Donat, for taking out the time from your busy schedule and enlightening your expertise and share your expertise with our association member and attendees. And I assure you that ISFA is always there for your members in India as a counterpart of your chamber to support in all the way. If they are looking for the expansion in India or anywhere, we are ready to support them in all the way. We provide all the guidance. We provide all the suggestions for the in terms of market, as you are saying, if you are going abroad or in a different country zone, then first of all, you look for the proper model for the franchising, and then second is the market for your expansion. So we are ready for suggesting and guiding and handholding with your brands in India. And thank you, Gaurav sir, for giving your valuable time to us from your busy schedule. And our next session is on 22nd of October with the Indonesia Franchise Association. So it is my request to all the participants to join us on that day as well and know about the Indonesian market and how their brand are keen to participate in the Indian market. And as Donat sir says, brands are ready to expand, and India is the emerging market. India is means well known for the education, for the tourism, for hospitality, for healthcare. So all countries are looking for India right now. So thank you very much for both the experts.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Donat.
Thank you.
Yeah, really appreciate it. And I look forward to meeting you in person. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gaurav. I also congratulate you for this wonderful webinars. I think you're serving great for the franchise sector in India, helping your franchisers to get acknowledged by different franchise associations and their markets. I congratulate you for this initiative.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Have a nice day. Thank you.
Bye.